Two veteran Democrats facing ethics charges back in Washington today as the House convenes for a rare August session. New York's Charlie Rangel, California's Maxine Waters could go on trial for alleged ethics violations at the height of election season. Waters denies any wrongdoing, says she will fight the conflict of interest charges facing her. But when a Republican ran into a similar matter some 15 years ago, she laid out principles that some argue are more relevant today than ever. Roll this from December of '95.
The American public does not appreciate double standards. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. No one should be so big, so important, so powerful they can violate the rules of this House.
We reached into the vault for that one, but we're going modern day today with Juan Williams. How you doing, my friend, NPR News analyst,
Good morning.
Contributor. Remember that, right? That was the Newt Gingrich matter back in the mid-1990s, and we remember how that turned out. Here is what you're looking at, Juan, if things continue based on what we understand today. At the height of election season, mid-September, you could have two Democrats facing two different trials on ethics violations. Whether it's Republican or Democrat, in this case Democrat, this is a politically imperfect storm for the party.
Man, I tell you what, it is a nightmare for the party, and you remember, they'll be televised, Bill. So it's going to be a constant reminder to the voters about corruption in Congress, and of course, in specific here, you're talking about Democrats. So it's going to be very harmful to Democrats as they approach Election Day in November.
This will be on TV,
2 months
you're
shortly.
saying?
Yes, they'll be televised.
Which means at some point they'll have to defend themselves.
Oh, they will defend themselves, and I think you're going to get, especially from Maxine Waters, a very strong defense that has a large racial overtone to it. She's making the case that she was helping out minority banks, not just the one bank, that her husband had an interest in it. But of course, when the meeting was held with Treasury officials, only people from that one bank appeared.
They're both members of the CBC, right? Congressional Black Caucus?
They are both African Americans, and that adds another element to this. And I think that you're going to get from Maxine Waters, in specific, less so Charlie Rangel, the race card, which Maxine Waters says that Sam Graves, a Republican from Missouri, was once charged with a similar crime, or allegations of a similar crime in terms of helping a trade association which his wife had some interest, and he was exonerated. Now, the difference there, of course, is that Graves, in that case, had a trade association who simply asked someone to testify. Here you have people coming to Washington, all representing one bank, and the result is a $12 million bailout.
They're going to argue those facts, and we'll get into them in another segment. I just go back to your point here, is that Maxine Waters has alleged race already, but Charlie Rangel has not gone there.
Not at all. Charlie Rangel has not. They both say that they don't think they did anything wrong, but Rangel clearly is not about race. Waters is all about race.
Do you think this is about race?
No. It has nothing to do with race. But again, the perception in our country with two African American members of Congress in the dock in such a public trial in the middle of the election season in September, it's going to have strong racial overtones, no doubt about it.
I think the bigger picture in all this is politics, and it's all about how do you get your message out if you've got two trials ongoing, possibly simultaneously. That's tough. I'll give you the last word, Juan.
Well, I think that there's a lot of pressure on Rangel right now to say, listen, stand up and do the good stuff for the Democrats here and simply walk away. President Obama has said, you've had a great career, et cetera. I don't think Maxine Waters is going to respond to those siren calls for mercy.
All right.
From her own party.
Juan, thank you for coming in.
You're welcome.
All right. Catch you soon. Juan Williams out of D.C.